Peace, love, and light, ICSP family. Today's topic is an extremely important topic. I know that this is something that everybody probably battled in their lifetime at one point, and I know that this is something that is personally I have battled. And this topic today is about depression. So I'm going to give you guys what worked for me specifically, and if you adopt this mindset, you can definitely destroy depression. So that mindset is to initiate change. So basically, one thing that I noticed with my life when I was going through depression where, depression is something that can creep up on you. And, you don't really sometimes feel that you're depressed 100%, but next thing you know, you're extremely irritable. You have you lack motivation. You want to sleep more. You're real self-critical, and you really have no drive to do more, and when depression really creeps up on you, it can even push you to like suicidal thoughts, and it can really take over your life in general. So, one thing that I noticed that when I was going through depression, as I was having a lot of negative self-talk about the past, you might go through specific traumatic experiences in your past, and that can really affect you, So for me specifically, I know that there's a lot of times in my life where I made certain mistakes as far as like, I'll give you guys an example. I was thinking that I was going on a course where, like a lot of us, we go to the American dream. So, I was going to school, I was going to work on my bachelor's degree, and then, I had a child, and that took me on a different course. So, I had a vision of my life. I was going to get married, I was going to have my child, and then I was going to have my dream job, get my dream house, and it took a different direction than that. And at that point in my life, I started to realize that I was nowhere near what I envisioned my life. And for a lot of us, that in itself can make us depressed because we have a vision for where we're supposed to be, and we're nowhere near that. So I was having a lot of negative thoughts about that. I was real self-critical about myself. I really had bad self-talk. And I noticed that when I was going through that depression, the biggest thing that changed my life was when I started to initiate change in the way I started to think. So basically, if you have a lot of negative thoughts out there, if you start to become more positive in the way you start thinking, it can dramatically change your life. So, there's a lot of people that I talk to on a continuous basis that if you start to hear their self-talk, it's real negative. They always say that they're not worthy of love. They feel stupid. They're dumb. They're not important. They're not special. And that in itself can really put you in a depressed state because you're speaking curses on your life. You're not actually speaking life. So I think it's very important to really start monitoring the self-talk that you guys give yourself. And that in itself, when you start to initiate change and begin that process, it can help with some of those people that are feeling depressed because of their mindset. Second thing that I would say would probably be when I started to initiate change and I became more grateful in my mindset in general. So, a lot of times we can be depressed because we see people on Instagram or, you see people on social media that are portraying a certain lifestyle, and you want to live up to their lifestyle. You want to basically keep up with the Joneses. And you start to realize that it's not really about that at all. It's more so about you being grateful in the opportunity that you have in life in general. So you have to wake up and thank God for the day that you have. You have to wake up and be grateful that you're still healthy, that you're still breathing. And that in itself, when you start to practice gratitude for even the small things, there's a lot of times in my life that I'm just grateful that I'm breathing still. I'm grateful that I have a car. Just materialistic things don't matter at all. You have to be grateful for the smaller things in life, just for the simple pleasures. And when you start to initiate change and begin to be grateful, that will change your lifestyle as well. When you start to initiate change and you actually start to begin to focus on your health. So what I mean by that is there's a lot of people that are depressed because they don't like the way they look. They wish that they were, more slimmer, or they don't like their body at all. And I noticed that there were times when I gained a lot of weight too, and that made me feel depressed. So, I began a process of initiating change, and I really started to just make small decisions at first. I started to stop eating so much fast food. Well, I know for a lot of you guys that can be difficult because there's like so many people that I talk to, they love fast food. And guys, that fast food is destroying your body. You know, they're putting specific preservatives and chemicals in there, making you addicted to that. And it's really destroying your mind, your body, and then in turn, it's making you depressed because you're eating that food. It's making you feel sad because then you start to look at yourself in the mirror and you're creeping up and you're getting unhealthy. You're starting to gain more weight and you might even become obese. You know, so I think it's very important for us to start initiating change and just make small lifestyle choices. You know, if you're on lunch or you're having a break and you want to grab something to eat, instead of grabbing a bag of chips, you know, or a candy bar, or going to the drive-thru at McDonald's because it's so convenient, why don't we just start to initiate change and bring a lunch, you know, and start preparing our lunches that we make. Instead of that fast food, make a salad, you know, start cutting out a lot of these processed foods because they're really damaging our mind, which in turn makes us more depressed. So I noticed that was a huge thing. So I just started slowly cutting out fast food. You know, I minimized a lot of the toxic chemicals that I was putting in my body as well. So for a lot of people, there's a lot of people watching this video. You may participate in taking drugs. You may actually, you know, drink a lot of alcohol, and a lot of those toxins are putting you in a depressed state because of depressive, you know, the depressive chemicals that are altering your state of mind. You know, I know a lot of people specifically that love alcohol, and that in itself will make you depressed. So I really challenge a lot of you guys watching this video just to start making small changes and initiate the change into health. And lastly, the main thing that I noticed with me when I was depressed too, kind of going in line with that, was I began to initiate change and I started to work out. Guys, you'll be surprised on how just waking up in the morning, maybe walking around the block, going to the gym, that really affects your mood. I noticed for me, when I was depressed, you know, sometimes I get depressed during the winter a lot too, and there's a lot of reasons for that because the sun's not out. So basically, I noticed that, you know, I would want to sleep more, and you know, I didn't want to really get up out of my bed, and I just want to stay in bed and just sleep pretty much. So when I was going through those depressive times, I would wake up, set my alarm, wake up early in the morning, and I would go to the gym, get my blood pumping. You know, feel that energy of me moving my body. And next thing you know, one small decision like that, I started to lose weight and my energy started to really shift. I started to feel more powerful. I would look in the mirror and I would like to see, I liked what I saw in the mirror. And, you know, that helped me out of a depressive state because then now I'm able to feel more self-confidence. You know, so when you have more confidence in yourself, it can actually change your mindset too and make you feel more grateful with the life that you have, because then now you start to realize that you're actually happy. And you know, a lot of times when people are depressed, obviously they're not happy at all. They have no happiness within them. So a lot of these things, if you start to initiate change, you start to realize that depression is a lot of times in the mind. So I would start there first. A lot of people are definitely depressed because they're living in the past and they're not really making the small choices that they need to initiate the change in their life, you know. And I know that sometimes it's hard because you don't want to make you don't want to make any decision at all. You just want to sleep in the bed. You don't want to move. You don't really feel like you have any energy at all because you're so depressed. But there are certain times in your life, guys, you just have to make a decision. You have to make that decision. And I really ask a lot of you guys, ICSP family that are watching this video, if you're feeling depression right now, make that decision today and begin to initiate change. Do these things in a video, and I guarantee you will start to feel better. So guys, if this really helped you, please like, subscribe, and share this video. Adopt this mindset so that you guys can get out of this depressive state and initiate change and spark peace. Peace, love, and light.